Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Falls Township Board of Supervisors meeting for Monday, August 26th. We'll begin with a salute to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Galloway, can you call the roll?
Jeff Brassman. John Palmer.
Here.
Aaron Mullen.
Here.
Jeff Dent.
Here.
And of course, Simon. Thank you.
All right. Item 1, executive session, Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Dents. Prior to the meeting, the board held an executive session to discuss various personnel matters, a matter of potential litigation, and to receive information from the manager regarding a project of the Yatsko Field Clubhouse. No deliberations occurred, nor no votes were taken on that matter.
All right, thank you. Item number 2, public comment.
Tony Batiste, 218 Gloucester Road. 3 things. I understand there's a data center that's going in out at the old mill, or that wants to go in. And I'm a little concerned because data centers tend to use enormous amounts of power and water. And I'm just wondering if anybody's giving any consideration to where they're going to get the power from. Are they going to be burning fossil fuels, which is going to add to our air quality, which is already not the greatest? Are they going to be using a lot of power that should maybe be going to the residential areas, and we're going to have blackouts or brownouts? And what about the water? Is the water that they're going to be using going to be filtered after they're using it? Or are we going to be polluting more water and streams? Questions to ask before it arises. Number 2, the change orders. Would it be possible when we're having change orders that we know what they're for? I mean, last meeting we had a whole lot of change orders, and honestly, I didn't think about it at the time. I should have. But it's like, why are we having all these change orders with such large amounts of money? And of course, they're never like deficit numbers. They're always adding more to the project. So it'd be nice to know what the change orders are for when we have them. And of course, the third thing is, can we put the bills someplace on the website so that people who are interested in knowing what this money is being spent for can see the bills? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other hands for public comment?
Hello, folks. I was supposed to be here for a Middletown Township meeting. I'm not a resident of Falls.
You're in the wrong meeting.
I'm in the wrong meeting, right? My name's Garney Morris. I just want to say hello to you all, okay?
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Good night.
I believe your son's working on the same project as me.
I'm sorry.
I said, I believe your son is working on the same project as me right now,
Young Garney?
up in Hopewell, Newtown, up Hopewell, New Jersey.
That's nice.
Yep.
That's nice.
All right.
Been around for a long time.
Yep. Thank you.
They're doing good. Thank you.
Any other hands for public comment? One more.
One more. Hello, I'm Todd Vreeland. I'm the Deputy Chief over at Levittown Fairless Hills Rescue Squad. Goes on with the ambulance service. Please let us know. We're more than willing to discuss anything with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other hands for public comment? No hands. Takes us to item number 3, M.Y. Lane, preliminary and final land development. We're going to ask for a motion to table this item.
So moved.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Dents, Attorney Michael McGinnis was here prior to the meeting for this item when he was informed that the board was considering tabling this matter. He indicated to Mr. Takita and I that they would waive all applicable time limits under the municipality's planning code, so we'll have some additional time to hear this.
Okay, thanks. Item 4, consideration of change order for RYCON construction. Mr. Takita.
Before we have to consider approving change order for $500,000 for RYCON construction. This is for
Is your microphone on, Matt? I'm sorry. Can you start over?
The board is being asked to consider approval of a $500,000 contingency for RYCON construction. This is for work being done on the new building in unforeseen circumstances. This request is the last third of the contingency that we did have budgeted for unforeseens.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Takita? Mr. Galloway?
No.
No questions.
No question.
I have none. Is there any public comment needed? Go ahead.
Could we know what the unforeseen circumstances are? I mean,
Yeah, there's a whole list here.
what it's in relation to?
Just, unsuitable soils, contaminated soil, steel support drainage. There's a whole bunch of stuff on here.
Okay, are the change orders going to be to actually fix the
Yeah,
contamination?
that's the point. That's what it is.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, can I say something?
Yes.
I think Ms. Batiste, I think your point is a good one, and I do, we had a lengthy presentation on the issues that were going on at the building, and I do think, Mr. Takita, if it's okay with you, I would like to invite Grace Construction to come to a meeting to give a presentation for the public's benefit about the building.
All right. With that, any other questions from board members? None? No more public comment? Is there a motion to approve the change order?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Item 5, consideration of offer to purchase and just compensation from PENNDOT to acquire a portion of the easterly side of Bristol-Oxford Valley Road. Ms. Gallagher?
Thank you, Mr. Dents. As you indicated, this is an offer to purchase for just compensation by PENNDOT to the township. This relates to the ongoing road improvements that are going to be happening over at the intersection near the Wawa. The amount being offered in just compensation is a total of $71,000. That encompasses a sidewalk easement of 2,292 square feet and a temporary construction easement of 20,767 square feet. And this would just allow PENNDOT to continue with the project, and it will install, they're going to be installing sidewalks and doing certain right-of-way improvements.
All right. Any questions from board members? Mr. Galloway?
No. No.
No
Ms. Mullen?
questions.
Mr. Palmer?
No question.
Any public comment needed? I was going to add that this is the improvements down there at Route 1 and Oxford Valley Road. So there's a piece of property that they need from us for sidewalks and easements and so forth.
Correct.
So allegedly that's happening next year, but I've been hearing that for as long as I've lived here.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None?
Mr. Dents, did you take public comment on
Was there
that?
any public comment needed? I'm sorry. Item 6, consideration of approval of indemnification and hold harmless agreement between Falls Township and SUNBELT Forest Products. Mr. Clark?
That'll be me again. This is a project that the board had approved several months ago. They're in the process of working through the final revisions to their developers agreement. In the meantime, part of the proposed improvements is the installation of a shed. We had a meeting with the developer and their attorney last week, and the installation of that shed and some of the site work is apparently a critical path for them. So they've asked to be able to proceed with that small piece of the project while those developers' agreements are being finalized and recorded. Speaking with Mr. Takita and Mr. Jones, that shed itself would not have required land development approval, but because it was tied into other improvements, it was part of the land development approval. So staff is comfortable with them proceeding while those development agreements are being finalized.
All right, so all we're doing is basically, this is permanent, right? This ordinance.
This is not an ordinance, this is just an indemnification agreement with Sunbelt.
Yeah, this isn't, you're not looking at the right number.
Something's out of order.
Number 7. That one.
Yeah, number 6 we removed. So
Okay,
that was the ordinance.
I apologize. Any questions for Ms. Gallagher?
No.
No, thank you.
And we We're still working on some language issues with the developer, so if you could just approve subject to final approval of the language by the solicitor's office, I'd appreciate it.
Any public comment needed? No hands. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm all messed up here.
This one, yeah.
All right, item 7 is consideration of approval for authorization to enter from PENNDOT for Levittown Parkway and Sexton and Spur Lane. Ms. Gallagher.
Me again. This is similar to the other PENDOT item we had, except that this is just a temporary authorization to enter, so there is no just compensation associated with this. The encouragement will be minor, and so PENDOT has asked that the township waive any claim to the relief under the eminent domain code. So you'll be authorizing Mr. Takita to execute this authorization on behalf of the township.
Any questions, Mr. Galloway?
None.
No question.
Just, is this for traffic to enter?
This is for PENDOT to enter, as they're doing
PENDOT, that's what I-
construction.
Doing
Thank you.
construction and stuff. Any public comment needed? No. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 8. Consideration of approval for resolution for the sewage facilities planning module for Air Liquide Electronics US LP.
Mr. Chairman, you should have a resolution in your packet. These are typical forms that you filled out many times before, approved many times before, and it's simply for a land development project to obtain adequate capacity for their sanitary sewer flows from their project site. This one in particular is for Air Liquide down on Steel Road.
This is routine stuff.
Routine stuff.
Mr. Galloway?
No questions.
Ms. Mullen?
No questions.
No question.
I have none. Is there any public comment needed? No? Yes? No? Oh. Is there a motion?
This is Resolution 20...
Resolution 2024-26.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Consideration of proposal from Restoration and Cleaning Services. Mr. Takita or Ms. Gallagher?
This is actually me. We are under a court order to clean up a property in the township, inside and out. The inside of the property is in especially deplorable condition. So we need to retain this company to clean the inside of the property. Once it is done and once it is billed to us, we will lien the property. So eventually, when the issues with the property get sorted out and the property is sold, we will recover the money that we've had to spend cleaning it up. And again, we're under a court order to do this.
Any questions, Mr. Galloway?
No.
Ms. Mullen?
No.
Mr. Palmer?
No questions.
Public comment? None? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 10, I think, consideration of authorization for advertisement for bids for the South Olds Boulevard Culvert Replacement Project. Mr. Jones?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, this project has been on our books for quite a while now. We were seeking a grant to try to offset some of the cost. The amount that we show in our request, $650,000, is what we estimated based on a similar project that's right down the street. So at this point, PENDOT, they do annual and biannual inspections of all of our culverts and bridges, and they indicated, now PENDOT's taken more of a conservative approach to their inspections. We don't feel the bridge is in any imminent failure mode, which is why we've been monitoring it, why we pursue the grant opportunity. And so the recent inspection with the new inspector indicated, they called it a level 0, and I'm not sure what that means, but essentially it means within 7 days, move the traffic. You've probably seen the water barricades away from what they're calling this erosive condition on the upstream end. So we did that, and if we have a plan in place to replace it, then we're allowed to continue to monitor it, and we don't have to shut the road down. So at this point, it's time to go out to bid. I don't feel the construction will occur until next March, and I think that'll be okay, because I'm pretty sure there's concurrence. Well, I'm sure that there's concurrence that it's actually not in a failure mode. It's just belt and suspenders. So we're asking for authorization to advertise now so that we can get bids in if there's any budget adjustments, because that's a dated estimate that we've given you, I think it was 2019. We'll have time to react to that for next year's budget, and at the same time, continue to pursue to see if there's any hope at this grant opportunity in the ensuing 6 months.
Okay.
So we'd like to advertise now, get bids in, go through that process, and be ready to go at start of construction next year.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Jones, Mr. Galloway,
None.
Ms. Mullen?
Yeah, so, sorry, for the 650,000 would be in next year's budget?
Yes, I don't believe that we would be able to go through the bid process and get started before the end of this year. I don't believe we'd want to either.
And then if we don't approve it in next year's budget, what happens to the bids? Okay, but we could still advertise the bids? Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Palmer?
No comment.
Any public comment needed? See no hands. Anything from our professionals? Mr. Clark? No. All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Item 12, 11, consideration of proposals from the Bucks County Consortium for the purchase of rock salt for 2024-2025. Mr. Joe Arneo is here. I apologize, last time he was here, I didn't recognize him because he had his suit on.
Oh. Yeah.
If we have any questions. So this is pretty straightforward. We're part of the consortium. We get the lowest price for, hopefully, we don't need rock salt. I don't think we used a lot last year, did we?
Not
Yeah.
terrible amount, no.
Any questions for board members?
No questions.
I feel like I should ask a question.
Go ahead.
I can't think
Ask
of
where he
one.
gets the dark salt from.
Where do you get the rock salt from?
The salt pile at the old steel mill.
Oh, you're
down
doing
at the port.
great. Thank you.
Joe, do you know if it's up from last year or is it down?
I'm not sure, but the last bid I did was 8 years ago, and it's actually down $3 from 8 years ago. So,
Last year, we spent $66 per ton.
$66
Right.
so it was
per
more,
ton.
Yes.
Yeah.
more last year, but 8 years ago it was $3 cheaper, believe it or not.
Wow.
So we'll save even more money this year.
This doesn't snow. Any public comment? No public comment. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right.
Thanks
Next.
for coming.
Thank you, Joe. Mr. Arneo. Next item is also being tabled. Is there a motion to table?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Item
13.
I have a mental block here. Consideration of updating, oh, this is the one that's being tabled. 12.
Yeah.
So the one that says 14 is actually 13. Consideration of escrow releases. Trench Tech, NP Falls Township, Building 1, Phase 1, Building 3, Phase 2, Buildings 4, 5, and 6. Any questions from board members
No.
about
No.
these reimbursements? Ms. Mullen?
No.
Palmer?
No question.
Any public comment? We can do all these at once?
You can, unless someone is not going to approve them.
What's the total amount for Trench Tech?
14.
$14,080.50.
$80.50. NP Falls Township Phase 1, Building 3 is $13,424.
Million.
$13,424,000, $796.06. That's a big number. They had that much in escrow with us?
The next one's bigger.
Mr. Chairman, they were actually performance bonds that are being reduced by those amounts.
$26,664,132.83. Is there a motion to release these escrows?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Mr. Galloway, can you poll the board?
John Palmer.
Yes.
Aaron Mullen.
Yes.
Jeff Dance.
Yes.
I vote yes.
All right, do we have any appointments tonight?
No.
I don't have any.
No appointments.
All right. Takes us to the minutes. July 22nd. Any comments or corrections on the minutes?
Just a very well-run meeting.
Was there a joke there? I don't get it.
You weren't here.
I got it, I know. I did watch the meeting though. Excellent minutes as always, Mrs. Pullen. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. This is to the engineer's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the month of July, we had one new land development submitted and one new earth disturbance application. Typically, the highlights are in red. I'll touch on a few of them for the board. The McGill composting project is substantially complete and under a temporary certificate of occupancy. The Britton Industries MY Lane project, that's been around for a long time. They got stuck on a dispute over what wetlands exist on site. That's been resolved. That will be before the Planning Commission tomorrow. Lincoln Storage is also under a temporary certificate of occupancy. We're addressing some landscape remnants due to the neighbors down on the cul-de-sac behind that project. North Point Phase 1, Building 3, substantially complete. North Point Phase 2, Buildings 5 and 6, substantially complete. LPC Morrisville is the warehouse on River Road. That's under enormous activities of construction. Building construction, as well as a lot of site infrastructure ongoing for quite some time. Pennsbury School District is, they recently began construction of the concession stands down there, and they hope to be open for the football season. North Point Area 3, 7, 8, and 9, that's Phase 3. That's still under fill, demo, clearing, and grubbing. The Gillespie project continues construction with various improvements. Trench Tech, substantially complete. North Point Area 3, Building 20, the big lift out there is storm infrastructure and drainage. SUNBELT Products has been approved, as we discussed earlier. The Donardo project was tabled. Agile Cold Steel or Storage, that's a new warehouse, cold storage facility proposed on Cabot Boulevard. They have to appear before the zoning hearing board for dimensional variances, and then they'll be before the Planning Commission to describe their project. And the one New Bold Road, that was a new one we had submitted, and it's the waste gas fabricating, and it's simply parking lot adjustments. So we think we're going to recommend that be transferred over to an earth disturbance. I don't know that it makes sense to bring it to the board since it doesn't meet the definition of a land development. In terms of the earth disturbances in the middle column, the Tyburn Road project, that's been around for a while as well. That's a fill project on Old Tyburn Road. Erosion controls were installed, and the project has been put on hold by the applicant developer. The Grand Party Affairs project operates under a TCO. The Bristol Partners earth disturbance was recently approved, and then the remaining highlighted red projects in that column are either temporary certificate of occupancy or certificate of occupancy completed, with the exception of the CAM Real Estate, which has just started construction. On the last column, the Jonathan Way LLC, temporary certificate of occupancy substantially complete, and continuing construction on the Penwood Crossing, that's the sanitary force main that they're constructing down along Old 13. The Huntar residence has been started, and the Howell residence has been completed. Now, number 60, number 66, 67 through 71, all the red highlights are all underway at various stages of minor construction. Number 73 has been reviewed, and a review letter was issued, but 74 and 75 have been approved. 76 and 77 have been approved. 76 through 78 have all been approved. And then the last grouping of red highlights, the first two have been started. The third and fourth one were approved. The fifth one has been started. The sixth one approved, and then the last one is under review. So I apologize for that kind of a description, but to go into each of these small residential earth disturbance would be, I think, time-consuming. Probably don't appreciate. For the township projects, we talked about the South Olds Boulevard culvert. The township building renovations, we know full well it's mostly drainage for the site work and building improvements. And it brings us to the Vermilion Hills footbridge. We received authorization to finalize the award at the last meeting. The contractor had a little bit of a delay in getting me their responsible contractor documents. They come into my emails today. They look sound. We will issue our determination for the manager in the solicitor's office to concur with tomorrow. And all that going well, we should start the project in a week or a week after. Final. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Jones, Mr. Galloway?
Just Lake Caroline.
Lake Caroline remains snafu'd with FEMA, so I apologize if I shouldn't use that term. They're supposed to submit to FEMA for a letter of map amendment or revision because they're operating within the channel of a studied stream. And so we recommended that instead of waiting for that process, fighting over that process, and trust me, Mr. Galloway, I talked to multiple engineers at that engineering firm who all concur, and they don't know why the project manager is resistant to doing what our ordinance requires, which is if you want to alter the stream, you have to get approval from FEMA. That's a long process, I get that, but that's what they have to do, and they've resisted it. And we've recommended that they don't do the stream improvements, rebuild the asphalt trail so that everybody can walk move it laterally if you can, and we could approve that because we can say there's no harm to that construction. But we can't say there's no harm to you going in and altering and changing the elevations of the actual stream.
Yeah, because all people want to do is just access from Trenton Road there.
You know, maybe I'll talk to Commissioner Harvey and explain to him that, that we're in this bit of a pinch and that he should recommend because they're working for the county, to their engineer to switch gears and get the trail fixed, and then you can take all the time you need to do it the right way through FEMA.
That'd be great. Thanks.
Ms. Mullen, any questions?
No, thank you.
Mr. Palmer?
No questions.
Any public comment needed? Ms. Batiste?
Could I add Mr. Jones's report to the request to have it online so that we can look at what's going on within the township?
Mr. Jones's report, is that something we can do? I mean, it's a pretty big report, and a lot of it is just residential stuff. I'm not sure if we can
Well,
put that
you
on there
guys
or
all
not.
get it. Why shouldn't the public be allowed to see it?
Mr. Clark?
Same with the bills.
Some of the information may need to be redacted, depending on what Mr. Jones is putting in there regarding certain plans or whatever. But there's no prohibition, I would think, to putting the majority of the report online if you wanted to.
We'll see what we can do.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Jones. That takes us to the bill list. We have bills in the amount of $3,122,736.40. $1.2 million of that is payroll. We have $635,000 plus for RYCON construction, $338,000 plus for Allstate Mechanical, Myco Mechanical, 200 and some thousand, Grace Construction, 137 plus thousand, QPI Electric for 55,000, and on electric, water, so forth. Any questions or comments on the bill list?
No.
No questions.
No questions, thank you.
Palmer, any public comment? Same thing? Is there a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Mr. Galloway, can you pull the board?
John Palmer.
Yes.
Aaron Mullen.
Yes.
Jeff Dance.
Yes.
I vote yes.
We have a bill list for Campbell Durant in the amount of $21,567.53. These are our labor attorneys. Any questions?
And that one, too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I did go out of order. Any questions or comments
No.
on
No.
that one? Any public comment? No? Is there a motion to pay that bill?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Mr. Galloway?
John Palmer.
Yes.
Aaron Mullen.
Yes.
Jeff Dance.
Yes.
I vote yes.
All right. We have one for Obermeyer, Raymond, Maxwell, Hippel in the amount of $1,647. Any questions?
No.
Any board public comment needed? Is there a motion to pay that bill?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Mr. Galloway, can you pull the board?
John Palmer.
Yes.
Aaron Mullen.
Yes.
Jeff Dance.
Yes.
I vote yes.
We have a Jones Engineering Associates invoices only in the amount of $196,477.75. Is there any questions? Are there any questions?
No.
No. Is there any public comment needed? No. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Mr. Galloway?
John Palmer.
Yes.
Aaron Mullen.
Yes.
Jeff Dance.
Abstain.
I vote yes.
All right. That takes us to, we're done with the bills. No manager comment, board comment. Mr. Galloway,
No comment.
Ms. Mullen,
No comment.
Mr. Palmer?
No comment.
I have none. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.